to Xinhua live broadcast. We're now in Shenzhen Bay Stadium in South China's Shenzhen city. This city is considered by many the Silicon Valley of China. And the final competition of RoboMaster 2018 is now staged here. RoboMaster is a high-level contest among the college students in China, and also it is one of the biggest of its kind around the world. And now I'm glad to talk with Chris Tuazong, a senior copywriter from DJI. Hello, Chris.
Hi, so this is RoboMaster. We'll go ahead and go through this right now. The finals have just begun. So we'll start with the robots, the real stars of the show. The first robot we have here is the base. This is the main target for all the robots. There are targets at the very top. Those are called armor plates. And at a certain point, if one of the robots is defeated, the base will open, revealing more armor plates for more damage.
Wow.
In terms of defense, we have a few robots that are controlled by an operator and some that are automated. This is an automated one called the Sentry. This one's going to be on what's called a Sentry rail that's right next to the base, and it's going to intelligently and independently protect the base from attacks by shooting other robots with these 17 millimeter ammunition. Along with that, we have other robots. Our main line of defense and offense is going to be over here. This is called the Hero Bot. And along with the 17 millimeter projectiles, it also has these large 42 millimeter projectiles. If you compare the two, this is about the size of a paintball pellet. This is about the size of a golf ball. And this inflicts about 50 points of damage. This inflicts 500 points of damage. So it's outfitted with those 42 millimeter projectiles to shoot other robots. It also has mechanisms to get boxes of ammunition. So our main star of the show would be the Hero. We also have the drone, the aerial robot. This is also outfitted with 17 millimeter projectiles. And in addition to being able to shoot, it also provides a real-time view of the field by being the eyes in the sky, whereas the other robots can only have camera views from the ground. Moving on to our main protective and assistant robot, the one that's always in yellow is the engineer robot. This one doesn't have any projectile launchers, but does have the ability to collect ammunition boxes, as well as be outfitted with hooks or grabbers to pull and push destroyed robots when they are immobile to go to what's called a regeneration point to regain their health. The last robot that we have, and on the field every team has 3 of these, is the standard robot. And this is going to be the fast-moving 17 millimeter projectile shooting robot that does damage of other robots, as well as solving puzzles to inflict larger damage through a damage rune, which I'll show in a bit. So those are the robots.
And I have saw the stand table of the battlefield.
So what we'll check out is actually a small replica size of the battlefield, so you guys get a better understanding for what's happening in the match. So here is what the battlefield is going to look like. It's about the size of a basketball court, and there's a red side and the blue side. Basically, what happens at the start of the 7-minute match, both teams are going to start out from their corners and trying to get these ammunition boxes of 17 millimeter, 42 and 17, or 42 millimeter ammunition from what's called the resource island. That's the first thing that they will do. After getting ammunition and sharing the ammunition to the Hero and the standard robots, they're going to go about going into their positions to defeat each other. After one robot is defeated, that's called First Blood, an invisible shield that would otherwise make the base invincible is going to be gone away, and robots are free to damage the base robot. Once the base robot is completely defeated, that's the end of the match. Or if the base robot isn't defeated, then it's whoever has the most damage of the base robot wins the match. Or if the base robot's health are the same for both sides, it's whichever team inflicts the most damage will win the round.
Yeah, that's cool. And now I'd like to show you more about the young engineers and what does the RoboMaster mean to them, and what is the relationship between the game and the industry. And we have already interviewed some contestants, and here are their stories.
RoboMaster is created to have building a platform to enable young engineers, especially university students, to get more engineering skill training and teamwork experience when they are in university. Traditional university education only emphasizes on studying textbooks and pass exams. But we think that from company's perspective, we expect very talented graduate students have rich experience in also understand the industry. And that's what conventional university education cannot provide. So we think that the robotics competition where students have to group into teams and they have to take in students with different background, for example, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and computer science. They have to form a single team containing 30 to 40 students and compete for 8 months to enter the final competition and win the game.
My name is Yipen Zhou. I'm come from China. I'm the captain of RoboGrander from Virginia Tech. We are here to participate in the RoboMaster competition. Based on this year's kind of what we learned from other teams, from like this real top 10 like strong team, we learn a lot from not only the mechanical part but also the embedded system. We have a lot of parts that need to be improved. The first is we need to improve the durability, because for our robot we just tested the functionality. We make sure every function is like fully functional, but actually during the competition there are a lot of like impact. The compact environment is very crucial, so most of our robots have many problems right now because it cannot take that kind of like heavy impact or long time running. So last year the first thing is durability, and second thing is for the mechanical job we need to make it fit the competition rule. For this year we made a fully independent suspension arm for the chassis, but it's not that useful this year because this year the competitions the battleground become very flat. There's no huge gap or stairs that you need to jump or climb. So our chassis actually doesn't fit the rule that much. So we will based on next year's rule to make our new designs.
And now let's focus on the battlefield and enjoy the show.
Okay, so guys, really interesting now. We just finished our first round. The championship round is a best of 5. And right now, the red team, who is the South China University of Technology, South China Tigers, they are up in the lead 1-0 against Northeastern University. One thing that's interesting to note is that the South China Tigers are the reigning champions. So they won the RoboMaster tournament last year in 2017. They're looking to repeat, but a newcomer, a new star of the show, Northeastern University, TDT, let's see how they can do if they can come up from behind and win today's tournament. Right now, we're in between matches, so round 1 is just completed. As you can see, the countdown is stuck at 22 seconds. Normally what happens is in between matches, in between rounds, the teams can go back to their robots and ensure that they're all working properly, and the referees have to clear out the field of the ammunition boxes that you will see will start spilling on the ground as soon as 15 seconds into the match. One of the teams did have to call for a technical timeout, probably because there's a malfunction or something technical going wrong with one of their robots. So it looks like the red team, the Tigers, are looking to fix, but they might be done now because it looks like everyone's clearing the field. So we'll see the action in maybe about 30 seconds.
And how many young engineers are joining the event this year?
So for the entire year, we had about over 200 teams that comprised of 7,000 students in engineering and robotics universities from all over the world, mostly in mainland China. But this has become such an international competition because it has really become the premier university robotics competition in the world. And right now is the culmination of an entire year's worth of hard work by all of these engineering students, robotics students, and their university professors to get to this point.
And the competition is also about sharing passions. It is a battle, but also to some degree it is a show.
Oh, it's yeah. One thing that that RoboMaster people will tell you is they want to make engineering and robotics the sport of the future. And as you can see in the competition, it will remind people of different player games such as Dota, where there really is a technical component, but there's a really fun gaming and competition format that makes it a very exciting show, which you will watch in about 5 seconds. And here we go. So you guys just saw the robots just started from their corners, the red in the red corner, blue in the blue corner. And the very first thing that robots teams will usually do, like you see the blue hero doing, is grabbing ammunition boxes, using its arms to throw in those 42 and 17 millimeter projectiles, which will make all the difference in this tournament competition. As you can see on the field, as these projectiles are being launched from the robots, you'll see green light, flashes of light. It's because all of these ammunition pellets, they are outfitted with LEDs, with accelerometers, so that they will light up when they're in motion. Right now, no robot is defeated yet. So again, it's really important for a robot team to draw what's called first blood and destroy one of the robots so that it makes the base vulnerable to damage. Because right now, both bases are completely invincible. No matter, even if a robot shoots an ammunition at those armor plates, nothing's going to happen until first blood is drawn.
The designer of the RoboMaster believed that the experience to join the competition can let the students go better teamwork, get better teamwork experience and the project management. That we see that the.
Yeah, so what just happened right now is those standard robots are outfitted with machine vision technology to solve these puzzles. They basically have to solve a 5-digit number sequence, relying on their own machine vision technology to solve. If they solve it, they get what's called a damage rune. So the red team, the Tigers, just activated that rune, which gives their projectiles 50% increase in damage. If they do it again, they'll get double damage. So right now, the red team is going to be a lot stronger in firepower against the blue team. And as you can see, one of the things that robots are not allowed to do is drive into each other intentionally. Once you see those kinds of bumps, the guys in the yellow shirts right outside of the competition field, those referees will call for a penalty. And penalties can range anywhere from shutting off the operator's first-person camera view of their robot to being ejected from the match completely. Luckily, we haven't seen any kinds of those violations, so right now it's really minor penalties, and otherwise all the teams can play as normal.
So where are the contestants and the pilots of the drones?
Sure. So one thing that's really interesting about this is whereas people in the audience can actually see the entire field, the operators themselves who operate the robots, they cannot see the field at all, with the exception with one. So most of the robot operators, they're behind computers operating the robot, and on their computer screen, they only see the camera view of the robot they are operating, and they're all in a booth, so they don't see the field at all. The only operator that can see the entire field of view is the aerial drone operator, because for safety reasons, he has to be able to have a complete line of sight of that drone. But because that operator is able to see the field, he's completely isolated from the rest of the team and cannot communicate with them. So in terms of what you're saying with teamwork, it's critical here because each team member only has a limited view of the field, and really what the big difference in this tournament that I've seen is being able to communicate with each other so that the team members can go make strong formations to team up against their other robots, especially those powerful heroes. So what we're seeing right now is as close of a matchup as we predicted. We are at 3 minutes and 15 seconds left in the match, and all the robots are in full health right now. Part of the reason is at this stage, the defensive capabilities and teamwork abilities of the teams are so strong at this level that you're not seeing complete blowouts. So it's going to be a close match. I know that the red team, the Tigers, are up by 1, but with 5 rounds in total, this can really go either way still. Now what you guys are also seeing is standard robots
can kind of hang out at the top there, and they can shoot that top armor plate of the base. But right now it doesn't really matter because both bases are invincible. No first blood has been drawn yet, but it looks like we might be getting there with the red hero incurring a lot of damage right now. If you can see right now, the blue hero is right next to that red hero getting point-blank shots with his 42mm rounds. So it's right now at less than 50%. First blood has been drawn. The red standard is down, making the base vulnerable to damage. Let's see what happens. Fortunately for the Tigers, the red team, they do have a damage rune activated so that their firepower is now stronger by 50%. Actually, maybe actually doubled now because they activated it earlier in the round.
And as for the rules, is there any new this year compared to the last 3 years?
Yeah, that's what makes the RoboMaster exciting every year, is that there's always going to be some differences in the abilities of the robots. There's going to be differences in what robots to use. And in the case you can see here, the bases are completely different and the resource islands are completely different. Last year, there was only one resource island that was surrounded with small columns as little obstacles for robots. This year they don't have that, and the gameplay is a little different because of the field being having these modifications. So every year it's quite exciting. It means every year teams can start from scratch to make the best robot for this particular gameplay for this year. Really cool. You guys are getting some shots of some laser sights on these robots. Next to its launch mechanism, they have those lasers to get a better sight on those armor plate targets. Another power rune activated by the Tigers, that's really a mark of their machine vision technology at work. And you're seeing a more close matchup. That blue hero is in real trouble right now. What the blue hero is doing right now is going back to a regeneration point. Is he going to make it? And he did. He actually just coasted exactly on the regeneration point. The regeneration point is a small square next to the aerial platform where it can stand on and to kind of get revived in order to be able to get back into the game. You're also seeing the Tigers, their red standard right there, lonely on the bridge, getting the top shots of the top of the base for the blue team. So right now you're seeing at the top of your screen, the red team has 9725 of health, whereas the blue team has 9800 of health for their base. That's the main score that you want to see right now. Whichever team has the lower number, it looks like the blue team, TDT, is going to take the second round to even things up. So now we are 1-1. The Tigers and TDT completely tied up. Like I said, you guys, this is a very, very close match. It's a best of 5, and we're completely equal right now. Like, I'm super excited. I don't know if you can hear that.
Wow, it's really a brilliant games.
Yeah, it's great. So what you guys can see on the screen, perhaps, is kind of some stats of the match. At the very top is the damage of the difference of the base. So if you see a blue color, that means that the blue team did better. If you see a red color, that means the red team did better. I can't really read any Chinese, so the best I can do is kind of give you a little bit of estimates. What we can also see is, are they able to watch the replay here?
Yeah.
So.
This is the replay.
No, so we're just watching. Oh, okay, so based on what we're seeing right now on the field, if you guys can get a good close-up of that, is the battlefield. So after the end of each round, you have volunteers and referees who are cleaning up the field of all the 17mm and 42mm projectiles. At the beginning of the match, the field has to be completely clean of that, and the robots themselves have to have no projectiles at all, or else they will incur a penalty. The only exceptions of that are the aerial robot and the sentry. Because they don't have any interaction with the hero or the engineer, they can't actually be fed any projectiles. Also getting some awesome shots in the arena cam of those first-person view shots of the standards getting the top of the base.
As Chris has just introduced for us, the South China Tiger team is from South China University of Technology.
Oh, really? Should we sign off?
Just one moment, I will discuss.
Okay, so we're about to get started in a few minutes. Right now we're doing some more preparations by both teams. The red team and the blue team, they're both double checking on their robots. One thing that you have to consider is each robot has a lot of moving parts in it, really sensitive pieces and a lot of modules. So one thing that they want to check in between rounds is checking for malfunctions and making sure that every module on the robots are in tip-top shape, because you don't want to see a malfunction. That does occur in this tournament, and if robots malfunction, at the very least, they won't be effective in the competition. At the very worst, if they're completely malfunctioning, they'll be deemed destroyed, leaving the other team open to inflict whatever damage it can.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Thank you for your great introduction. And we want also to thank all the competing teams for bringing us these brilliant matches. Oh, it's a pity that that's all we have time for today, and we will follow the result of the competition in our following news feeds. And by you from Xinhua News Agency, thank you for joining us, and bye for now.